Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So next build up is a king size bed. I think it was last year I did a queen size bed, and I had done plans for those. Actually, Mel had helped me doing plans, and somehow we never published those plans on the website. I'm not sure why we didn't. But rather than go back and post those plans, we had developed another set of plans for a king size bed. So I reached out to Mel, and he's going to update these plans for me, and we'll get them posted on the website here hopefully soon. Maybe by the time you see this video, they'll be up. So king size bed, this is built for my oldest son and my daughter-in-law, and it's to match a set of nightstands that I built some number of years ago in Sapele, and I'll put a picture of those up here in the corner somewhere. And that's kind of what we're trying to match here. The headboard will be frame and panel. It'll be tipped back on the top at 5 degrees, just like the queen size bed was. That's a really neat feature that I really like. And then the legs will be tapered on the top and the bottom to match the nightstands, which means I had to order some 16-quarter material to do that. So that 16-quarter material is not here, but you see behind me on this side, yeah, there it is. I have a fair share of Sapele sitting over there, which is what we're gonna do this in. So until my 16-quarter gets here, I can actually build all the frame and panels for the headboard and the footboard. I can pretty much get everything ready to go except for the legs. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna show you a lot of milling and that kind of stuff. You guys have all seen that before. But yeah, the Sapele, I'm gonna get as much ribbon as I can, and they will all be vertical in the headboard and the footboard, which will match their nightstands. And they're going to sit in that frame, but they're not going to be glued in. They will be allowed to float in there so that seasonal wood movement isn't going to create them an issue down the road. So let's get after some milling, and hopefully we get a frame and panel here together soon. So as I'm milling my stock, I've got all that 4/4 for the panel sections that I also have to mill. So I went ahead, this is going to be the upper panel in the headboard, and although it's not milled to final thickness yet, it is milled to final width and final length, just so that I could clamp it up here and get an actual measurement off the inside of this piece, because I have to mill all that 4/4 stock for the panel in the middle. And remember, they're going to be floating slats. So I needed to get an accurate number for how many of those I needed to cut. And each panel is going to take 16 slats that are, well, they're about 4 1/4 wide. Now the two end ones are going to be wider than that to account for that groove in there as well, because it will lock into the end panel. And then it'll have room to expand and contract as it needs to. But I just wanted to mock this up so I could get real numbers before I started milling all of that 4/4 stock and getting it to rough size, so that I can do the final milling right before I build each individual panel. So I'm going to do that off camera and mill all of that 4/4 stock. Since I have 3 of these panels to make, there's obviously a bunch of them. So that's what I'm going to do off camera. I will probably see you guys tomorrow, because I think that will take me the rest of the afternoon. Okay guys, so there we go. I think I've got all the parts except for the legs very rough milled. The 8/4 material is is just about there. I've got it stickered and stacked, and it can sit. It was just tough to wrestle that stuff. All the slats are rough cut. You'll see I've got them numbered. On my headboard stuff, it was flat enough I could lay them out and have a good look at them and decide where they go. The footboard stuff was still rough enough that I decided to hold off, and I will mill that stuff again right before I'm ready to use it. So tomorrow morning we'll come in here and we'll add the groove in the frame itself, and then final mill the slats for that panel, and we'll cut a rabbet on the top and the bottom of each slat to slide in the panel, and the outside pieces on both, they also get a rabbet on that side to slide in the side. The rest of it's just going to float freely in there to allow it to expand and contract as it wants to. So that's what's up next. I will see you guys in the morning, and we'll get after hopefully putting a panel together. All right, next up is to go ahead and cut the grooves for all the slats. I was able to keep my stock a bit oversized, so that was really cool. I've marked which is the face and which is the back, and I've also marked which side the groove goes on, because that makes a difference as well. Now we have a left and a right, or an up and a down. So the face will always go towards the fence, just in case there is a little bit of error. But I have run a test piece, and it was pretty dead on. I set up a dado stack, and because I had a little extra thickness, I'm actually running about 5/16, maybe a smidge heavy in that, and I'll cut the slat tenons to fit that. So yeah, all I'm going to do, and I'm running a 1/2 inch deep, so all I'm going to do is cycle these pieces through and get all of these grooves cut. Also, because this goes in between the legs, I can cut these all the way through. There doesn't have to be any stops. All right, so next up, I set up a little bigger dado stack in here. I'm a little over a 1/2 inch, and I'm decided to go to my sled because it gives me more support this way, and I have a lot of these to do. So I just set up a stop block with the dado stack. I've run a test piece, and it's a great fit. I'm happy with that. So we're going to go ahead and cut all of these pieces now, just like that one. So apologies, I should have turned the camera on when I had this actually dry fit. The fit actually came out pretty good. I had a couple little spots I had to come in and just play with just a little bit, mostly just sanding. Got those straightened out. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and put a chamfer on each one of these panels and kind of give it that beadboard type look. Remember, every board is exactly the same size, so I think that that'll look kind of neat, just a little detail. So we're going to move over to the router table, and we're going to do that next. Okay, so I got the chamfer bit set up. I've ran a sample piece just to make sure it's where I wanted it and locked in my height. So I'm just going to pull these out one at a time and go ahead and put that small little chamfer on them. And I'm only going to do the show side, the face side. Okay guys, confession time. When I did that dry fit, it was just a bear to get 16 of those individual slats plus the frame and then get everything square, and that was without glue. So I could go to epoxy and buy myself some more time, but I think I'm going to hedge my bets a little bit and go ahead and glue up 2 panels at a time all the way across. So then I only have to deal with 8 of those instead of 16. So I'm going to spend the next hour or two getting those all glued up and situated and set aside, and then I'll show you where we're at. Okay, so there it is. It's all dry fit. I'll be the first to admit that it was a lot more finicky than I thought it was going to be. It took a lot of little tweaks here and there to get all the seams to close up and have it fit really nice. So I'm happy with this one. Unfortunately, I got 2 more of these to do. I have the lower headboard to do as well as the footboard. So that's going to take me some time, and I think this video is starting to get just a little bit long anyway. So I'll get after those panels, and then we'll get after the rest of the bed in the next video. So until then, guys, take care.